Hello and welcome to another bit of bonus content for Mutant Mondays. I'm doing a little audio essay talking about my Groundchuck vintage action figure, which I'm reading out an old article. I only picked up this figure last year, and it's a really cool figure it's come to be one of my favorites, despite only owning it for not that long, maybe a year or so. So next up in my parade of mutant weirdos is an all-time favorite, Groundchuck, a super awesome sculpt of a bright red mutant cyborg bull, who in the concept stage was called Bullseye. They probably didn't use that name, seeing as Marvel has a trademark character of the same name. The mix of colours on Bullseye, red, silver, blue, and orange, are gaudy and odd. They shouldn't work, but somehow they do. There's some purple in there too, on just one of his horns, making him a real patchwork of a character. Groundchuck was released as part of an expanded wave with some new freaks such as Pizzaface, Dirtbag, and Chrome Dome. He appeared with Dirtbag in the Murakami Wolf animated show in Season 7, Episode 21, Escape from the Planet of the Turtleoids. His file card art is rather stunning. To this day, I crave a large hardcover, high quality book with glossy pages reprinting all the concept art, file cards, box, and bubble card art from the Ninja Turtles vintage line, but it's unlikely to ever happen post Nickelodeon buyout. It's a shame because I have other books on my shelf of Transformers box art, and there's lots of other classic lines, G.I. Joe, He-Man, they have their own art books about generic art or box art, and we've just never had a Ninja Turtles one. We got a really cool kind of source book universe one covering all the different medium franchises of Ninja Turtles, but never a proper quality art book, which is a real shame. I'll just skip back a moment here because I went past one of the pictures showing off a close up the lower half of Bullseye. You can see he's got the metallic cyborg leg, and one hoof is like silver fake metal, and then his other side has a regular hoof and another Bullseye target on him, a funny loincloth piece like a Motu kind of figure. He's such a bizarre mishmash of styles and things going on with this figure. But we'll move on and talk about the next thing. He did appear as a boss battle in the Nintendo Entertainment System game, Ninja Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project. In the boss battle, a roller door winds up only after you walk past it. The boss surprising you in the style of a Bobo and Double Dragon. It's very clearly a nod to that first level Double Dragon with the big similarly proportioned muscle guy comes out and just trashes you. His attacks mirror the Rocksteady charging pattern, and the sprites appear to be a rework of the Rocksteady character sprite. It looks the way he moves and runs and the charging attacks, pretty much the same thing that Rocksteady does. Groundchuck did not appear in the Archie Ninja Turtles Adventure comics or get a sourcebook profile. The sourcebook was a Archie like 3-issue miniseries, like the old Marvel universe, showing character profiles and full stats and information. It's funny that he didn't appear in more media because he was a cool design, and unlike other characters, say the Mutanimals that have appeared in IDW comics and that turn up in the later Nickelodeon era animated show, Groundchuck was like one and done. We don't really see him again, with the exception of last year in Shredder's Revenge. He turns up in a boss battle along with his partner in crime, Dirtbag the Mole, and NECA made a fairly nice 2-pack action figures of those guys. But it's strange to have not seen this guy for decades, and then he turns up in the same year or two as a brand new modern day figure based on the old one, and then seeing him turning up in boss battle as a video game again was pretty cool, and I did really enjoy playing that game. Okay, next we have some artwork which is like the Nintendo Entertainment System versions. He's all yellow here. He lacks a lot of the other details and things, but he still looks cool, but it's significantly different than the cartoon or figure models. And this is from, I think it's from one of the old Nintendo magazines, like Nintendo Power or one of the other various ones. You had official and independent Nintendo magazines with all the tips, and it's giving you tips on what to do in the boss battle. I don't know if it's actually useful. There's speed runs on YouTube where if you really want to know how to beat them without taking a hit as possible. Okay, so next, just showing some comparisons here. That on the left, the Nintendo artwork, and then the next one is the sprite in game based with that same artwork style, the yellow. Then the figure, and then there's an animation model just showing he's fairly consistent across his designs and how he appears. A possible early concept that may have been reworked into Groundchuck is this evil mutant bull concept art that appears along with Mondo Gecko, Ray Fillet, and Scumbug in an out-of-print Mirage era zine. Don't know if this is... I have no evidence other than this image itself, like it may have just been a random bull-themed character that had nothing to do with him, but that he appears with the other guys who are from like later wave figures suggests that, you know, they were going to do one kind of bull figure or another. And okay, moving along, some more concept art here. This is a sketch showing that Groundchuck was formerly called Bullseye at the concept stage. In this picture here, it's a bit more rendered. There's more detail, like your typical Marvel or DC Comics type image before he's been simplified for the toy and cartoon models. The earlier name explains the yellow targets on his chest and leg that made into his final version. So it seems like the Marvel Comics Bullseye was a definite influence, at least at the concept stage, and wisely so they changed the name to avoid any kind of trademark or copyright infringement. Groundchuck is a really neat character design, one of my all-time favorites in the Ninja Turtles vintage line. I'm very grateful to add him to my collection after all these years. And one final image here again of the toy. This is one I picked up maybe a year or so ago. In the background is the Rise of the Ninja Turtles playset, which is like a 3 or 4 tier playset. It's basically like a shelf. That's a fantastic set for displaying stuff on. Moving on to the last image is just the end of this little piece. So this is just my little thoughts on this figure. I thought just a way of appreciating the figure I picked up after so many decades of wanting to own it, to take a couple of photos of him and show off his brief appearances. I would have liked to have added in perhaps the images of the NECA figure and his boss battles in Shredder's Revenge, but originally when I took these photos and wrote this article, those basically didn't exist yet, so that's why they're not in here, because I did this over a year or more ago. Okay, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next time, guys.